Hello, welcome to the new episode of the Culture and People Cast. Today we have Stacy Sherman. I am excited to have her. She and I have known each other online for a little while, so it's great to finally connect with you, Stacy. In a few sentences, would you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yes, so I am a corporate leader by day. I work for a big company leading customer experience and employee engagement at Schindler Elevator Corporation and formerly at Verizon. And by night, I'm the founder of Doing CX Right, which is both my day and my night are both about humanizing business and leading with a heart. And that's how you win. That's how you differentiate a brand by doing CX right, not just talking about it.
Yes. And so when you approach CX, I'm curious, and I'm sure we'll get to this, but for you, customer experience, how is that connected to employee experience? How do those two integrate?
Oh my God, extremely connected because unless you have employees who are engaged and who are committed to customer excellence and do the right things, and there's a lot to say behind what those are,
Mhm.
but unless they do that and they deliver, that's what the customer feels and sees. So it starts with the employees feeling valued, included, and understand and apply best practices.
Yes. So you obviously have a direct connection to the culture and the people within organizations that you work in or work on, right? In your day or night job. What's the best thing about this work for you personally?
It's about it's about bringing what we know as business and process and revenue and marrying that with building more connections and authenticity so that and trust and inclusion and happiness, because when that happens it's a better world.
Mm.
So I say that both from a leader and a change agent, but also as a consumer, because I've had way too many bad experiences when I'm working with brands, or not even working. I'm looking for an experience from a brand, and I get frustrated way too often, and it doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah. Yeah. My husband, when he met me 15 plus years ago, said like, wow, you're very particular about service, but I grew up in the service industry, right? I mean, I waited tables, I worked retail. And then when I got into my corporate career, luckily I started with State Farm Insurance when I was still in college. And we were all about that customer experience. We were all about that experience on the phone, especially when we're taking claims. So I think it's sort of in the way that I was raised, but I completely agree with you on the connection between that and employee experience, really important. But I think I am hearing, Stacy, a lot of leaders talking about the challenges of engaging their talent right now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's not easy when we're all virtually everywhere,
Mhm.
um, especially in a large corporation, but even small companies, people are not necessarily coming into an office. So, how do you do it? Well, by leading with the heart. What does that mean? It means taking time out to pick up the phone, call your people. How are you? Not taking a cookie cutter approach that this is the process, this is the way it is, but rather adapting and being agile and catering to individual needs, because we're not all the same, and we're not handling COVID the same either. So as a boss or as a friend or as a colleague, it's listening, empathy, and then doing things that bring connections, which I could talk about in this moment or further questions.
And Stacy, there's like a random beeping going on in my house. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. So let me ask you this next question and then I'll mute myself again. So we've got these leaders outside, who are listening to this, who want advice on how to advance their culture and their people strategy. What would you say to them?
Leaders who, say that again, leaders who,
Really, anyone who wants to advance their people strategy or evolve their culture. What's some of that tactical advice that you could give to them?
okay. So leaders who are looking to elevate the way they are, how they show up, a couple things. One is having that cadence of time with your people, your employees. So what I like to do is have one-on-ones with every single person and then come together as a group. And not only do we do that as a group for business topics and prioritizations, because there's a lot going on and you can't do everything. So we come together and we determine what's now, sooner, later. And we get very intentional of what fits in what bucket. And then we also intentionally make time to come together for not business topics, both. And so one of the things that I've been doing with my team is a book club, or we'll listen to podcasts, TED Talks, and share what we've learned. And I recommend doing that, not just with your own team, but even your colleagues, your coworkers, your boss, because it drives different conversation. And then when you really understand people and the way they think, you can really enhance that relationship and then together humanize that business.
Yes, agreed, agreed. Thank you for your patience there. I have no idea why my phone was making this noise. I've never heard of it. It was probably some interesting alert. But I think your blend of the approaching it from the business and the non-business is so important, because if we don't, we're going to forget that human side. And to your point earlier, like the experience, any experience doesn't just, that word just breathes humanity to me, right? Like a robot doesn't necessarily need the experience, but a human does, whether they're experiencing it as their career or experiencing it and providing it to other people.
Yeah, I want to comment on the robot. Great point. Technology is here, AI is here, IoT is not going away. So, I live in a space, especially when I was at Verizon. I mean, that's a real big technology company. And the thing is that technology has to be used to enhance customer experiences. It can't replace it. So I ask everybody be very mindful to use technology the way it can enhance, but just be careful that it doesn't take away the human element.
Yes, it's almost like as you were talking, I was thinking it's downloading an app that's supposed to help me with healthy eating, but never using the app, right? Like I sort of glance at it, but don't change anything on my side, expecting that somehow the tool or the technology is going to be the savior, which it's not, right? It's about it's about our daily human interactions and habits.
Yes. Yes. I even think about like chat, for example, online chat. I was recently online, and so I liked it that there was at first a chat option, because I didn't feel like getting on a phone call and an 800 number and going through the prompts and uh, a lot on that topic. But
Hmm.
so I got on this chat, and then when it recognized that it wasn't able to answer my question, the automation, it then transferred me to a human person, I believe. But what happened was when that person couldn't answer my question, it transferred me over to another person and I had to repeat everything I already said. So
Yep.
that's why I say, like, use technology, but don't forget there's a
Mm.
human on the other side.
Mhm. Agreed. Right. It's got to connect. It's got to really connect. So, Stacey, from a peer perspective, or even just a thought leader perspective, who else is doing some really good work in the culture and people space that we might want to check out, or even as a possible guest for the show?
I have a really long list, but if I had to pick one, because I've said one repetitively, so I'll pick someone new. His name's Dan Genghis, and he's like me in that came from a corporate place and really knows from doing the work. He's now out on his own.
Mhm.
Um, but he really gets it because he was doing it in a company and understands the way process, culture, all of it comes together.
Yeah.
So he and I'll have amazing chats, and he gets it. So I'll I'll throw his name in as a great source.
Awesome. So Dan Gingiss.
Yes, I'll share with
Gingiss.
you his, yeah, I'll
Awesome.
type
Yeah,
it.
we'll link to that, Stacy. And then what about resources? There's a employee, a team member, a leader out there who's listening to this and says like, all right, I'm ready to bridge the gap between experience and humanity. I want to advance my people and culture, whatever their desire is. What are some of your favorite resources?
Well, if it's okay, I'd like to tout my own. So doingcxright.com. And the reason why I say that, first of all, check out the podcast page, because right now I don't have my own show, but I like this will be on that page too. You'll see dozens of people that I really respect who've had me on their show. So you'll see who they are
Mhm.
on my podcast. And there's some great topics about all of this. Likewise, my blog on that page has lots of articles with every single one of them has actionable tips in there. And then finally, there's also, and all of it's about the heart and science of customer experience. The other thing is people looking to elevate their skills is I'm a big proponent of education, and I am um, in belief that there's a couple universities that you'll find on my website that are offering customer experience certifications, one that I did, and I think it's really well done. So I write about my experience and a discount code to help with some cost.
Awesome. No, I'm with you. I mean, I'm a high learner, right, as a strength. So not everybody has that, but I do believe that either way, there's always something we could be doing, even in you and I talked about earlier, bite-sized increments, right? This 10-minute episode, a 5-minute article that you can read, something that will continue to grow and contribute to your personal and professional impact. So thanks for that. So I really appreciate you being a guest on today's show, Stacey. Thank you for all you're doing with culture and people in your day job and your side job and all of the good work that you're doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. Peace and progress, guys.